My next guest is the embodiment of grit, determination, and perseverance. He is from the country of Venezuela, which he left to come to America to pursue his dream of becoming the UFC flyweight champion of the world. Today, I have the honor of speaking to Roy, the Unbroken Echeverria. Roy, thank you so much for being here, my man. It's a true honor to talk to you. And I'm happy we were able to work this out in our schedules.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate the time to you for to have me here and also the opportunity to speak up. It's a pleasure.
It's very humbling and it's a huge honor for me. And I want to start off with Venezuela. For me, I know a little bit about your country. I don't talk a whole lot about myself on this podcast. This podcast isn't about me. It's about you guys, but I'll just really briefly say a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was actually an international affairs major, and I studied quite a bit what's been going on in South America over the past 20, 30 years. And I still don't think most Americans have a really good grasp of what the world is like down there. As an academic, even I wouldn't. I've read about it in books and through lots of studies. But it's a different kind of thing, like when you're actually there and you grew up there, and it's completely different. For people who may not know, Roy, can you describe what your country is like? What is it like in Venezuela, and just how difficult was it at times? Because it is what you're talking about, like the experiences you probably had as a child. I don't think anyone in this country would even have a remote clue as to like what it's like.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like you say, there's two different perspective of what could be a Latin American country, especially Venezuela being one of the like highest talked in Latin America. So that being said, being Venezuela, one of the dangerous country in the world right now. With all the things that are happening on with the government, with the drugs, all politics, so many stuff that is going on right now. That the kids that are growing up right now, there are like, it's sad to say, but that generation, it's gonna be very, very, very hard to recuperate it just because they're growing in a different way. You know what I mean? I had the blessing, I could say, to get away sooner than I sooner than I probably most of my friends from my childhood couldn't. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I would have stayed there longer, probably my story would be different. Probably not, but I mean, it's that's a part that we're talking, being growing up. Now when I grow up, that I was like adult. I was
Mm-hmm.
20 years old, 18. I went to the university. I was, of course, living a whole different life. I was trying to be independent by myself. They're starting. I start seeing like real life. My dad just the sacrifice that they were doing. I had to do sacrifice by myself to live myself. You know what I mean? So it's tough. I don't know if I have the words to say, even that I live it.
Mm-hmm.
It's even hard. It's also hard to explain it. You know what I mean?
I could only imagine it's probably like one of those things where there's a line in the movie The Matrix where he's trying to like describe them like he's trying to explain to Neo like this is what the Matrix is, but basically he just says like you have to see it for yourself, man. I can't explain it for you. and I can only imagine it's very, very similar. One thing that I would point out for people who don't know, there's a lot of concerns about the government, and people there are struggling just to survive in Venezuela. It's very difficult to just get the bare essentials that you need in order to survive. And people are fighting for existence down there.
For food, for
right.
like
Things that we would never even dream about in this country.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Roy, I want to hit up on something because you come to America, but I know how important Venezuela is to you. It isn't something that you come here and then you get all Americanized and you forget about Venezuela. That's not the case.
Yeah.
You rep it very, very much. It's a part of your persona. You've made that a part of your fight persona. It took me a while to figure out what it was that you were talking about or what message it was. I'm not going to ruin that. I want you to describe it for everybody. But you have a Guy Fawkes mask on and you have the Venezuelan flag, and then the mask is like painted with the Venezuelan colors. And for so many people, they're immediately going to look at that and be like, "Oh wow, that guy looks like a badass. That's cool," and not really dig deeper and pause and think about what it is you're really trying to say. Can you describe for the good people out there who are watching this, what is it? What is your message that you're trying to get across? It's not just to look cool. There's something else.
Exactly. That's a meaning. That has a meaning behind. That has a reason. And man, the whole story behind how I travel that image to my fighting life is because I fought against the government of Venezuela. Like I literally fought against the government, against the police, the army, with my friends. I got friends that aren't alive right now that they died through all those problems going on in the streets. And I decided to took that because the things that I lived there on those moments I will never forget it. So I decided to took that with me forever. And those sadly are people, or those are moments that today people back then they were like, "Oh, go to the street, fight there, you guys doing good." My friends die. Oh, they do a little pray, and 2-3 days after, no one's remember my friend. You know what I mean? But I do. I saw him. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about one, but there were like many examples. So I make sure, and I kind of like did a promise that every time that I can, I will put in the, and if while I have the platform, I will speak up for those people that aren't remembered, that they die for people's dream besides them dreams, and now they unfortunately they can live. You know what I mean? And I had a blessing to do it. And if I God's allow me get better platforms to do it and I speak about it, and I let know the whole world that what really happened, what's going on, how the things are handling on Venezuela. I would do it. I would do it with all the pride, with all the consequences. I've been having really bad consequence too, because I talk about it. Now being on out of the country, I still had it.
Mm-hmm.
When I did it on inside the country, I even went to jail just because I was against them. On fucking, I got punched. I got punishment. All the type of stuff that you know you could imagine. I live with not just me, with a lot of friends that were fighting for the same thing. And now it's just, I just make sure that I know there's people that are still there doing it, not as popular as it is, as it was in those times, because like we get tired, you know what I mean? Like like we were a group that we were fighting for your dreams, our dreams, but the difference was there was just us. And little by little, like we start asking ourselves, like, all right, is this even worth it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely do. And one of the things that I wanted to point out about the mask in particular, there's another meaning behind that too. And
yeah, sure.
I want you to tell people what it is you're trying to say there too, because that's really important. You're trying to bring change. You're trying to get people aware. Like you're trying to it's about fighting back is what that's about. It's about being a revolutionary, and I want you to describe why that's so important to you.
Like I said before, that, for example, talking now about the mask, about the meaning behind, it's not a secret. That mask, the anonymous mask, it means like a fight, a symbol against the revolution, against the corruption, against the dictators, all those type of things, the type of institutions and stuff like that are trying to control and hide and do bad things. That's a meaning to fight against it. What's interesting is that I actually used that mask when I was fighting in Venezuela against the government because I couldn't show my face.
Wow.
Because at the beginning I wasn't being aware
Yeah.
what would be the consequences. I mean, I was just fighting. Then I fucking appear in a paper news, like first page throwing a,
Yeah, yeah.
and then okay, I can't be doing this anymore. I just like I'm gonna wear a mask. No one's gonna know who I am.
Right.
Like we have to wear helmets, masks. We can't even show our tattoos, anything. We have to be like we have to be our own army, our own revolution, and that I just put now the mask because if I would just wear a white mask like popular, it would
Yeah.
be he just like the vendetta mask, but like that's not the case. You know what I mean? That I put the flag on it because that's what we live in my country, and I'm fighting against them. Now I'm doing it in a different way. You know what I mean?
I think it's just really it says something about what kind of man you are because, and you alluded to it just now. Yes, we're in the U.S. Yes, it's different, but at the same time, it's a risk. You never know who's out there watching you. I mean, you never know like who the government could send to look for people that they don't like. It happens all the time, and you just, I think it says something about you. It's like you're not going to be intimidated, and
Yeah.
you don't.
I gotta be unbroken.
Yeah, you don't just like fight in the ring, but like your real fight is out of it. So when you go into the ring and like you're fighting for money and for sport, it's like for somebody who's like been in like real life or death situations, it's got to be child's play in so many different ways to you. It's got to just be fun to you.
Definitely. I kind of say like in one of my promo videos when I was about to say make my pro debut, I say like, I'm used to fight for food. I'm used to fight to survive. I fight for my country. I fight for freedom. That's just, fighting for me is just another fight. You know what I mean? Like, of course, I gotta train. I gotta do certain different stuff, but it's not like I'm gonna be scared to fight someone. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's not gonna happen. Like,
Roy, tell me a little bit about your name. You go by the name The Unbroken, and when you hear your story and you think about the things that you just said, it's the perfect name for you. But when it makes sense. But when I do research on you, like you're looking about trying to tell other people like what that means to you, so it can help improve their lives. Can you share a little bit of information about what is your message to other people who are trying to become unbroken? Like, what does that mean to you? What does that name mean? And then what are you trying to get other people to understand by becoming unbroken?
For me, being unbroken is a mind state. Mostly like 90% would be a state of mind where you, no matter what, it's like that popular says stay strong. But like for me, being unbroken is more powerful. Means that no one can break you, no matter what's the situation that you have that you're going through right now. Could be a familiar stuff, financial stuff. No matter familiar, there's so many things. I've been through a lot of them. Trust me, like in my country, or my family, coming here with my first financial situation. I just came here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been through a lot of. I'm not saying that I'm not the much experienced, but like I say, all that makes me. It makes who I am right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just came with that like analyzing everything. I'm like, man, it's not easy. You know what I mean? And okay, I was strong about it, but I feel like there has to be something more powerful than just being strong. So it happened on my fighting career too. Like I get injured. Okay, you have to keep your mind unbroken because an injury shouldn't stop you for what's your dreams, for what you want. That's just talking about like sport career, but it could happen on you on actually normal life.
Mhm.
Like an economical situation shouldn't stop you for what you want. You
Yeah.
you just should keep broken and find the ways to do it and be positive. Don't break. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Don't break that. Be in front of any situation. So that's pretty much the message that I want to um, deliver with my meaning related with what I'm fighting for. You know what I mean? So that's my the main message. Be unbroken. Don't let any break you. Don't let any break you.
I think that's so important because you're talking about it's one thing to be strong physically, but it's quite another to be strong up here. And I think those are the things
Yeah,
that you're trying to talk that you're referencing, and it's something
yeah,
that I think most of us have to work on every single day, because your
yeah,
brain is programmed to take the easy way out. Like you're always going to be like, oh man, I want to sleep in, or I don't want to go for a run. I want to drink beer, or smoke a bunch of weed. I don't want to do this. I want to play video games. Like we're programmed to be lazy,
yeah.
and I think it's just like a different mindset. Like by being mindful of those types of things, you can become unbroken. And I'm sure every single day, I think it's one of those things where you have to constantly work on it every single day.
And that's and one thing is become unbroken. Another thing is stay unbroken. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because you can become unbroken, but now like you're in a certain position that like for example, I'm no one right now. You know what I mean? But I still got friends and temptations that like, oh, let's go out, let's hang out, let's go to this party, let's go to this stuff, let's get drugs, like you know what I mean? I can't. Like, it's not like I'm against. I fucking love everything, all of that. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I gotta stay focused. So stay focused. I could relate it with staying broken. Like those temptations, none of those things can break me and make me fall and 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 take me out of the way of the things that I want, that I really want. Because if you think about it, go party. That's the thing that you want that night.
Right.
But I don't just live for that night. You know what I mean? I'm making this sacrifice to the future, to what I really want. That probably is not gonna be that night. You know what I mean?
When I think about your country, one of the first people I think about, it will be like you're one of them now, but it's always been Omar. It's always been Omar Morales. He is an amazing fighter, and I would imagine in Venezuela, he's probably like Michael Jordan or something like that. I'm sure he's a very,
Yeah.
I'm sure, and why wouldn't he be? If there's a Venezuelan that should be Michael Jordan, it's got to be him. And you have the benefit of not only of knowing him, but I've seen him in your corner. I've seen him walk out with you on your fights. And when you think about the career he has had in the UFC, and you are at a point where you're just getting started, that has got to be incredible for you to just sit in a room, not even hit the pads with him, but just listen to what he has to say in his path to get to the UFC. Is there anything that he's told you or guidance that he's giving you that puts a lot of things in perspective for you and gives you a sort of mental edge to get to the next level?
Yeah, no, definitely. He has taught me a lot. Like he's been like my big brother. He's like a brother that the life give me, the sport give me, and if there's awards in the sport that I really take serious, besides of course, my scope, my coach, is his words. Whatever he has to tell me, and whatever advice and things that he would give it to me, I take it really serious. Just because he has lived, he's one of the person that I look up to, and he has lived kind of the same thing that I lived before. But he is already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, of course, I wanna follow his steps and overpassing for sure,
Mhm.
because like he's he's a fucking man, you know. So like who don't want to be better than Michael Jordan? You
Right,
know,
right,
just say
absolutely.
like now it's on you, and if the stars align, that happens. You know what I mean? So I make sure that I take everything that he says, and plus to become better. You know what I mean? If those things that I follow gets me to his point, and I add more things, I will try to overpass. You know what I mean?
The thing about Omar is he's like roughly my age. I wonder if he's older than me. He might be, but like he's at the
this year.
Okay, so I'm the same age as him. Okay, so he's at the tail end of his career. You're at the very beginning of his career. Is there added pressure at all? Like when you think about him and just kind of like where he's at, when you think about like where he's at in his career, and then you are entering, like that could like put you in a weird spot because like, listen, I'm not Omar. I'm me. I'm Roy. Like I can never compare myself to him. But at the same time, like you're going to be the guy that people in your country, like the new generation, the kids today, they're not going to know who he is. They're going to know who you are. And that's got to be kind of like weird for you. Is it when you think about it like that?
Yeah, if we put it on that perspective, for sure. I mean, but he's in a situation that, okay, you're right, but it's not like for example, who you say, like he's the first guy ever
Yeah.
to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, for example, you can talk about Jordan, but you can also talk about Kobe. You can also talk about LeBron. You know what I mean? So in this case, let's put it on Gold Wilding. It's like that. He will be the Michael Jordan, and will be the Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. You know what I mean?
I would imagine in a sense though, but it's different in a way because we're talking about basketball and we're talking about all Americans. Like when you think of Venezuelans, active Venezuelans in MMA,
all Venezuelans,
you're talking right. You're talking a very shallow pool, and it's like, oh wow, like this is you're looking to your left, you're looking to your right. It's just me and this guy. Like that's got to be kind of like make the arm on your make the hair on your arms raise up a little bit because I couldn't even like name anything, whatever it is, and it's like, hey, it's only you and one other guy that for your entire country that do this. That would be kind of a lonely place, and I'd have to really think about how I would be unbreakable, right? To try to like, that's a lot of pressure, man. Like really, seriously, that's a lot of pressure.
Definitely it is, but it's a good pressure. I like that. I've been through a lot of pressure. I really love it. You know,
I could only imagine. I want to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about your gym. Ryan was on my show not that long ago, and that guy is he's very intense. He like I just like felt his energy, and I was on a call just like I am with you. I felt his energy. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, this guy is intense. I loved him though. Like I felt like I've known that guy my entire life. When you're around somebody like that, and I understand he's a bantamweight, you're a flyweight, totally get that. But I'd imagine like when you're out of camp, you know, I know you're a little smaller than him, but like your weight, it's comparable. I'm sure you get a lot of work in with him. How does working with a guy like that day in and day out make you a better athlete or a fighter? I should say
it's a blessing. It's a blessing for sure. I mean, it's a guy that makes me for sure better in every aspect. Like he trains just as hard as I train, and just we both have similar mentalities, but at the same time a little different styles. So it makes you complement each other. You know what I mean? As a training partner. So it's just a blessing. Like have him as a guy, one of my main training partners. He was my main training partner for like 3 years. Because when we started Go Shit, it was just like 5 guys, and we were one of those. You know what I mean? So I used to train with a 35er who was him, and the 45er used to train with a 55er and us. So that would be the whole team. And he was my main training partner for like almost 3 years. Then we opened up the Go Shit. We start getting some 25ers, and of course we start getting our weights right and I'm doing it. But he also been on one of those guys that's in my camp helping me for anything that I need. You know what I mean? And give me his advice, his perspective, and he's a really really smart guy also.
So he's very smart. He's very smart, and I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you, but this is the question I asked Ryan. I was like, you train with Roy a lot. I'd imagine you do. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, does that give you more confidence knowing that you're fighting or sparring against a guy you're training every single day with Roy, a guy at his caliber, and then the rest of your teammates? Does that give you an added sense of confidence walking into the cage? And he said, absolutely, because I know nobody's better than them. Do you feel like the same way when you're getting ready to walk in the cage?
Same way. I say, man, I just train with fucking Ryan. I know who, you know what I mean? These guys know no in hell better than Ryan. Like, and I went back and forth with him. Like, this guy will have no chance. That for sure gave me the confidence to be there and experiment even through the fight, because I know what I can do. You know what I mean? And if I do with the best guys on the gym, that not just in the gym, I know the world class level that all my training partner has. It just give me that confidence to do it and don't care. You know what I mean? Don't be. It's not like I'm gonna be scared to do something, because I know in the worst case scenario I'll be okay. You know.
One of the things that is so impressive about you is you just started this pro chapter of your life. 2020 wasn't that long ago. That's where you began your professional career, and you're just crushing everybody. You're making it look very, very easy, very similar to Ryan. In 2021, you fought 5 times, and you finished 4 of those 5 fights, 1 by sub. The rest of the 3 remaining fights were by knockout. And then you fought Cruz at the tail end of 2021, I believe. December of 2021, you just fought him. I kind of want to pause there, because it's hard to learn when you're dominating everybody, at least in my opinion. Like, if I were to go out there and I'm trying to pretend I'm you, if I go out there and I like starch a guy and win a fight in the first like round every single time, there's that little part of me where it'd be like, hey, Tyler, you're the shit. And be like, I know. Like, but you can't think like that. You have to be humble, because when you don't take the next guy seriously, that's when you get caught. And I just wanted to shift and talk a little bit about the beginning of your career, where you're knocking all these guys out, you're making quick work of them, and then you fight this freaking savage, Cruz. That guy, freaking savage. He made you dig deep. He made you work for it. I didn't like the decision. I didn't like the split decision. I thought it was a clear 29-28 for you. But can you talk a little bit from the beginning of your career, where you're lining all these guys, they're lining all these guys up for you, you're crushing them, then they put Cruz in front of you to test you to see if you're for real. You passed that test as well. Give me your thoughts on just kind of where you are at this point.
I mean, it's been an amazing journey as far as now. It's been also rough, because like I've been fighting guys also with like that I know are not my level, and unfortunately there are certain guys that gets in like last minute replacement and all this stuff. But I know what I'm capable, you know. So I'm just gonna make sure that I'm gonna make it look easy. So I won't just go there to find a guy that I know that I can beat and just take it forever to beat him. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna go and do my thing. Mm-hmm. And this guy, when I get the test with Cross, we have a whole different strategy to fight a fight that I didn't follow, and my coach was fucking pissed on me because I didn't follow the game plan. But when I went there in the fight, I was just like, at the first minute and a half, I was like, I know I got this fight. It's gonna be a tough fight. It could go long, but I'll make sure that I do the right thing. I just gotta keep sharp and don't be cocky and none of that, and get fucking leave it on the judges. I wasn't trying to do that, so I got confidence, and I decided in during the fight beat him on his own style, which was strike. He was an amazing striker. He was champion before on the organization, and hell experience fighting one of the top. Like he been fighting the toughest guys on the country for a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fight this guy on his style and prove that I'm good there too. You know what I mean? That not just because a lot of people knows me, and okay, one who doesn't know me see my fights and say that I'm a striker. But who really knows me and make research about me, they say, all right, this is a jiu-jitsu guy, this is a grappler. You know what I mean? So they were in those between those lines, and I just pick a line and didn't try to mix it up too much. I just say I'm gonna beat you here, and I did it. You know what I mean? So I just want to make a statement on that way. I also felt that was an anonymous decision, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I shouldn't leave it to the judges. If I would have if we would get follow the game plan, the results would be different. But I got a job. You know?
So tell me, Roy, out of curiosity, I have to ask. I don't typically ask questions about game plans, but this fight already happened. You're probably not going to fight this guy again. What was your game plan going into that one? Like, what were you supposed to do?
Go on submit. Shoot off the bell and submit the guy and break his leg or rip his arm off. That was the game plan. We work on a lot of scenarios. He was a fast guy, strong, so we probably was trying to take him out end of the first, beginning of the second round. On a submission, because we know that he will be strong the first 2 minutes, because he's fresh, you know what I mean? And he's athletic as fuck. So we would be like, all right, we're gonna fight for it, but eventually he can stop 2-3 shots, but he won't stop the 4th, 5th, 6th. I was ready to shoot the whole fight, you know what I mean? Get the stuff.
Did you feel like he was getting tired as the bout progressed? Because there were a lot of times where I watched this fight like 3 times. And I watched it in regular speed, and then in slow speed, and then like one very fast. And when I watched it in slow speed, he looks like he's throwing a wheel kick at you. He's throwing elbows. He's throwing punches. But when you look at it, and I didn't notice it at regular speed, none of these are hitting you. Like, you're blocking all of these shots. And I sit and I'm just like, I guess I can understand why one of the judges would give it to him, because if you don't see it, and I didn't, I had to put it in slow speed, but like, he's not hitting you clean with any of these shots. Like, he got a couple knees in, yes, that were good, and he got you with like a left hook, I think it was.
Left hook after spinning.
But like all the showy strikes that he's throwing at you, you're blocking every single one of them.
Yeah, we actually did a stats on the fight. We analyzed it. We did stats. We did counting punches, everything. I struck the guy by 3 times the amount of punches that he throws. I land. I don't know. I think it was like a 110 punches, and he landed like 20. And I controlled the whole fight by like 40 minutes. And he controlled like a minute or a minute 30 as much out of the whole fight, out of 3 rounds. And I land 1 or 2 takedowns, not clean, but I took him down. And it wasn't like that I was shooting and I fall. I just, out of my 3 attempts, I land 2, so it was a good average. Also, I mean, the whole fight, when you start analyzing, like, that was a clear unanimous decision. Probably it was an exciting fight, that's for sure. But I mean, probably just the ref let them emotions went there.
Right.
They started too close.
So here we are 6 months after the Cruz fight, and when I look at where you kind of are at this point in your career, it's tough, because on one hand, you want to stay active, but I know it's not always up to you. It's not always up to your coach. You have to find somebody who's willing to make the weight and who's going to show up. That's easier said than done. And a lot of people probably give you shit, and they say like, oh, this guy's a crusher. This guy just beats scrubs. But it's not your fault. You're not the matchmaker. You're not the one that can like force somebody good to show up. All you can do is worry about you, right? So there's that end of it. But then there's also that point where it's like, well, I want to fight somebody good because I want to put my name in the hat. I want to be considered for like the Contender Series. I want to go up into the UFC. So when you think about where we are right now, we're halfway through the year roughly. What do you want to accomplish for the rest of 22? And how do you see yourself getting a shot to be on the Contender Series or one of these bigger promotions?
Well, the game plan for now is stay patient, and we want to shoot for the call to Contender, or a short notice UFC. I've just been training hard and being in shape. I know opportunities come every day, and I'm not the type of person that will miss opportunities. If I see it, I take it. So evaluating the risks and stuff like that. Besides, like that, on offers that will keep me away of the main goal, we will be Contender UFC. What I mean, like if I get a offer for fight another organization like LFA or CFC or Fury, whatever, you will evaluate it and we see if it was worth it. If it's worth it, let's run it. You know what I mean? Because like you say, I'm in a position that like I can do that, but I don't want to like risk the show. You know what I mean? Because like fortunately, I did what an average fighter do in 2.5 years. I did it in 1 year, or pretty much like 14 months. We were 7 fights.
You were taking every fight that they were offering you to stay that active. You had to.
I was lining up to fight good guys. We were sucks. Like I was lining up to fight fucking undefeated fighters, top 10 fighters, and like, what I'm gonna do? I train. I'm just gonna go there and do my thing, like I was supposed to do with this other guy, and that's what I did. You know what I mean? So people that talks, I say, just you show up, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
and well, you know what? I will say this: I don't care if a guy is 0 and 100 and he's fighting you. If he showed up, if he's man enough to show up in the cage, if he's man enough to make the weight, that says a lot about who that guy is. He's got a lot more courage than 99% of everyone else out there. So I have nothing bad to say about anyone. I don't care what their record is that fought you. They went in there and they gave it a go. And as an athlete, as a fighter, you have to respect that. I'm sure you do.
No, definitely. Actually, it makes me more nervous to fight a guy that sucks than fight a really good guy. Because, like, if you fucking lose with a guy that apparently sucks, you're like, all right, you sucks even more.
And then the consequences, there's consequences to that. If you fought a guy that was terrible, that could set your career back like 2 years if you don't win, if you don't deliver.
Definitely.
Roy, I really appreciate your time this afternoon. You're an absolute legend in the making, and I can't wait to see you go to the UFC to compete with these guys in the 125-pound weight class. They're slowly but surely adding more and more guys that are just like you, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be talking to you again 6, 7, 8 months when you're getting ready to make your UFC debut. I think you're very, very close, maybe one fight away. Maybe one fight away. Roy, I want to give you the chance. If there's anyone that you'd like to shout out, or if there are any sponsors you'd like to talk about, I would like you to have the opportunity to do that before I let you go today.
I mean, I really appreciate your time also for having me here. Sorry for the issues last minute. I don't know what fucking happened. Like my camera went up. I don't know. Wi-Fi disconnect, stuff like that. But I really appreciate the time, the opportunity to be on the podcast and talk a lot about it. I really like the conversation. I really like the topics that we touch, and the support. That's a fact. That's right already. We're gonna make our debut hopefully this year or beginning next year in the UFC. We're gonna push it to make it happen and keep working, keep Unbroken. And I mean, thank you for all the guys that support me also. And this is just the beginning, like I say, and we gotta keep it going.